David, Justin, hey, congratulations on your new film, Push.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Your cat is amazing.
For some unknown reason, these cats know when the Zoom starts, then they try to come in. But other than that, when it's off, they won't talk to you. But anyways, let's ask that obligatory question we always ask is where the original idea came from for Push.
Yeah, of course. Luckily, I feel like we have a really specific answer for this that normally we don't have. Is like any independent filmmaker will tell you, you usually have to have like a part-time job to like make money because indie movies don't make any money. So mine was real estate photography. And I was at this shoot one day in the hills. Signal was really bad, and I just felt really at unease. Is that the right way to say it? I felt really uneasy
Uneasy.
at what?
Uneasy.
Uneasy, yeah. It just felt there was a weird energy. I didn't feel safe. And I remember calling Justin later and telling him like this would be a really interesting scenario if we could like figure out a story that fit it because it felt like it could happen to anyone. Obviously, we changed the protagonist to not be me, to be a pregnant woman. But yeah, it was just really born out of like a real life everyday encounter.
Yeah. Wow. I watched your guys' last film, The Boy Behind the Door, and I felt so, how can you say, it felt so torturous that you guys would actually go after two young boys throughout the entire movie. But this time around, you're going after a pregnant woman. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, is that better? Is that better or worse?
I'm not even sure. I feel like you guys like to choose people, sort of like a David and Goliath type of situation in these thrillers. Is that what you guys are going for?
I feel like that does like end up happening because like we were actually talking about like with someone about how I guess that like we keep going after like the taboos of of like horror and thriller where it's like you're not supposed to like hurt kids and you're not supposed to hurt like unborn children or pregnant women or like animals or like old people and we're like, oh, okay, I guess we have a few more things we have to check off. But yeah, it is like really there's something I think because we like to have stories that are more stripped down in terms of their backstories and exposition. I think we really identify with characters that kind of have an like a more built-in sympathy and empathy where you don't have to go into that as much. And I think that turns into those David versus Goliath kind of stories, right? Where it's like you have like a pregnant woman that's up against like this force that it's like, how is she going to get out of this? Or you have like children or etc. And it doesn't require that much backstory to really still like hone in on the themes that we want to touch on, and the tension still feels really taut throughout. So yeah.
I mean, it is exhilarating in this case, but tell and because you guys have done this these type of thrillers before. What is your approach to keep us on the edge of our seats in these cat and mouse chases that you guys always do? Because you guys do it well.
Thank you. What is our approach? I feel like we really like it to, we really like things to feel natural and realistic, which is one reason why we try to avoid dialogue because in those scenarios you really wouldn't be talking. Like that was important for the boys and the boy behind the door. Um, Obviously Natalie's by herself, so she wouldn't be talking to herself, but still dialogue exposition we try to avoid. And I think one of the things is we really like to have things feel like real time, like it's actually playing out second by second as we're watching it. So I guess that does come through a lot in, you know, leaning more into like long takes that are unbroken versus like things that are cutty or jump time. We really want to feel like we're there with her, like as she's like looking around the corner and or maybe someone is coming up behind. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think to even add on to that, it's like we like to just really make sure the audience is in like the POV of our protagonist, where it's like I think that a lot of movies give the audience information that the protagonist doesn't have. Whereas we kind of like the audience to only have the same amount of information as the protagonist. So it's like when you are just as kind of like blind as they are, it feels like the tension and terror can come out of anywhere because you're able to put yourself in that scenario. So that's something that we try to focus on as well.
I was going to bring up the subject of long takes because that is very noticeable, and I feel long takes is is a tricky process, and a lot of directors don't like to do that. Tell us about these long takes that you guys actually put into a push.
Well, we have a few long takes. We have the title sequence one, which is a real long take. There's no cuts in it. We have another one later where we do like a handoff between who we're following. That one does have a couple hidden cuts, but I think again it just comes down to like really wanting to feel that sustained. You're almost holding your breath throughout it. Um, and on just a pure technical level, it's just as indie filmmakers, we love movies that do that. So we really try to push ourselves creatively. Like, can we also do it? Can we also pull it off? Like, it is definitely hard. You definitely will hear, maybe the DP groaning and moaning about it because there's technical challenges. But I think if you can pull it off, it's just really exciting. It's exciting for I remember when we pulled off those shots, it was exciting for everyone on set. Like everyone was so happy and if there was a sense of accomplishment because it is challenging.
Now, we have to mention this character that you put in the film, which is obviously the house. You know, not the
But
protagonist or the antagonist, but this manor. I don't even know how many rooms that is in this manor. It could have been like 50 rooms, but it's a maze and navigation through this. Tell us about this house and how much did you really use of this house? And did you actually have to construct, new sets in addition for this house?
Interestingly, we actually don't even use all the house. There's more to the house than we even were able to put in the film. There were some things that were there where it's like they're literally like the secret passageways that lead from like the basement up into like where we eventually had staged our production office, and we're like, and it comes out through like a bookcase, and we're like, people wouldn't even believe that that is a real thing that's in this house. They would 100% think that that's a stage, or they would think that like the elevator is like a stage or something. All those things are real. They're a part of this house. Any rooms that we don't go in, if you're watching the movie, just know that there are people that are either like live in the house and are like staying in those rooms, or it's where like, hair and makeup is staged or the production office is staged, something like that. Um, the only kind of builds that we had for this were the tunnel. We did use a stage for that to like build out the tunnel. There is still part of that is actually still the house, but kind of like expanding that and extending that and everything that was a stage. And the interior of actually, technically, the mausoleum we put on the site, but the interior of that we shot on a stage. But it's that whole graveyard and everything, like that is a space that exists on the property, and I think they've kept it,
I think
David.
I've heard they've kept the mausoleum.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it's a great Halloween decoration if they kept it. So that's terrific. And of course, we have to mention your cast. And it's always lovely to work with a small cast, especially with the indie film. So tell us about Alicia and Raul in this case.
I mean, you've seen the movie, so you know how incredible they are. Working with them just really exceeded every, I think, hope and expectation we had. They're just both so committed and dedicated actors. Alicia really brought something to the role that, we had written the story so long ago, so we had a vision of Natalie in our minds, and she really added so much to it, so many layers, so much depth, so much vulnerability. It was really incredible to see that character come to life. And then with Raul, we've been such fans of his for so long. We really didn't even think he was going to even read a letter we wrote or consider in any way, but somehow he did. And he's so scary and menacing, and again, just exceeded everything we were hoping for. But like at the end of the day, it all comes down to just having a really great casting director, which we've been lucky to have on all of our projects. Her name is Amy Lippens. And yeah, we really can't take credit for any of that because um, we're covered when it comes to good actors. It's really important to have good actors in these types of movies, even when especially when there's less dialogue and it is more physical.
Yeah.
And speaking of physicality, with Alicia, with the the faux pregnant belly, did that become a challenge or hindrance during the shoots?
I know that sometimes, it was a little like heavy and taxing on her to have to carry it around. Like, it really is the weight of like, if you were pregnant. And so like sorry.
I was gonna say it's heavy. I put it on.
Yeah, it's it's legitimately heavy. And yeah, David did put it. Um, like it's and she was in that for for hours on end. And like I know that it was like, physically taxing for her. So she was just a real trooper throughout this because there are a lot of really, I mean, anyone that watched the film like will see like there are a lot of really physically taxing scenarios that she had to go through, and a lot of these stunts and fight scenes she was committed to do on her own. So yeah.
That's why you cast wonderful actors that are willing to put up with what you guys actually demand. Well, Justin, David, let me wrap it up with one last questions. And th this is the second movie that I watched under you guys. I'm going to have to go back and watch Jin, that you guys also made. But my last question to you guys is, do you guys hate police officers? Because I feel like you guys always put them in you know situations that doesn't end well for some unknown reason as an officer. I would hate to be an officer in your movie, in fact.
Well, traditionally in horror movies, they don't fare well. I mean, they're just kind of like getting in the way of, you know, the real players you want to see. You want to see like the heroine, the hero, and versus the villain. So they're just kind of like in the way. We do support, the police and all that, and believe in we don't hate police. Well, but yeah, I don't know. It is tough because we do want to keep it realistic, and realistically, someone in the scenario would call for the police. If you don't put that in, people will groan, oh, why didn't they call? So it is kind of an obligatory thing, I guess. We got to figure out a way around that, Justin. Yeah, I agree, Gig. I don't want to see police anymore in these
I
movies.
think that our next like couple that we've been thinking about, like they don't really have police in them,
Okay.
which is a change for us, which is nice. I agree. We'd love to avoid that for a little while.
You both make wonderful films anyway. So, David, Justin, thank you very much for speaking to us about Push. You guys got another one in the bag. So thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you. Bye now.